We wanted to see him on something where he can start fights, and that's exactly what he is on now.
It was banned on red side, commonly used in the LPL. Not many teams willing to let it go, but that just shows you how high the Tristana priority was from Weibo as well. As LeBlanc was just hovered, but does Cryin want to pull that into the matchup? Jamada, I will say one thing. It would give them a similar condition as maybe the Draven again for Arn. Oh man, the priority just shifting up even more. Here we go once more.
More aggression, more forceful plays likely to come through from the side of IG. I love it. And let's see where Weibo go. Renekton Sejuani on the table, right? Could definitely be a very strong top side matchup where you know YSKM should be put under a lot of pressure. Gives you a consistent level of team fight. Now, I will say, if they do end up with this Tristana in the mid lane for Xiaohu and Sejuani in the jungle, they would be lacking a bit of AP. And I was gonna say, something from the bottom lane could come out from Light. He was one of the few in spring that was picking up the Ziggs. I wasn't necessarily going to highlight the Ziggs as an option, but it's awesome to see it come out. As now we know for Weibo, they've got the double Demolitionist composition, right? So if they can actually stave off some of this early aggression and get, you know, a bunch of tower damage down. First Herald in particular is where I look to Weibo to say, you know, how strong is your objective setup around that timer specifically, so that you can potentially, you know, look as high as a 15-play game, right? When you've got Tristana and Ziggs in the game, it's totally a viable thing to look for.
It really is. And again, like we have seen Ziggs and Tristanas, likely from LNG as well, do the same. Gala played an exceptional game of it, as even Jackulov, I think the same can be said. But ultimately for Weibo, we have to see what else partners with it, because no jungler yet picked up here for WBG, while IG lacking the support, as Wink actually going to be losing the Blitzcrank here in the 2v2. And I don't blame Weibo batting that away. After game one, you absolutely respect those hooks that were catching you out left and right.
Yeah, exactly. And so many times did Wink find the target in game one that you just don't want to have to be put under that pressure, I feel like. Here in game number 2, IG remove away the Ivern. That's such a funny call out, but I don't mind it. You could end up with like an engaged support and then Ivern, right? And 2 frontliners, 2 damage dealers, and an Ivern is definitely a very, very strong composition to run into if you're IG looking for dive. So I like that they make that call, and now Weibo definitely looking most likely, I'd imagine, to consider the Sejuani, but we'll see whether or not it's something outside of that purview, as YSKM, something like the Camille, is definitely in his wheelhouse. We know it would be a rough lane matchup, and I think the last time actually that I cast YSKM, I said the exact same thing, and he next to managed to find a way to dominate it. So I'm looking forward to this if it does go through. He's very, very experienced, despite TheShy being on the stronger half of the matchup. So now YSKM is going to use technically 2 top lane champion IG skins back to back, because you know he's going to Camille in this one, as now Weibo Sejuani feels like a foregone conclusion, right? And now it's just about what Crisp is going to land on, as it's just an instant lock in on that Alistar.
I mean, I'm trying to think, because it's technically not top lane. Camille was Ning's skin, because remember that was the days in 2018 when Ning jungle was spamming the Camille. So I guess you're just going to another player of the old IG, because that's the throwback for me. Other one was Duke there, Jamada. Duke actually played the Aurelia, as not relevant right now, is it? Because there's a Pyke that's just been locked in, even though Alistar's there. Holy damn, IG with the spunk today.
Yeah, super exciting from IG. Again, you know, they want these aggressive compositions, they've landed on them, and now with the Pyke, it's just extra money, right, in the hands, potentially, of this IG bottom lane if they start to get the ball rolling. There is also that, I always forget how the interaction works, but I think if Pyke executes a target which Draven would have killed, I think Draven gets the cashing goal or something really ridiculous. Like there's an interaction between the 2 champions. True. I need to go double check and look it up, but that also then means, again, if you're Weibo, you have to be doubly careful around this bottom lane in terms of handing these guys kills, especially post level 6. Otherwise you could be getting bankrolled real damn easily.
So someone said they were in the bathroom at work. This is Reddit, by the way. No wonder it starts with this sentence. They were in the bathroom at work and wondering if they get gold from the stacks if I get the Pyke ult assist. And someone said yes. LMFAO. Relatable. That's what I got, but I'm assuming, you know, you just see the Pyke ulti. And I'm pretty sure it's within 3 seconds, right? It's within 3 seconds if Pyke gets the, of course, passive procs and he receives the gold. So yes. That's what we're looking towards. Thank you so much for Reddit. as always, for giving us way too much information. As IG are still running one hell of a comp. I mean, Camille on the Rift, Draven, Pyke. This team that's eliminated, no holds barred. And against Weibo, they played one hell of a game of League of Legends in game number 1. We are looking towards them for some similarity in game number 2. But ultimately, it is up to Weibo to keep their spot up in the top 6. That's what this is all about, as IG start off game 2 with an invade, but they are spotted out themselves.
They are indeed. I was wondering if IG were going to just send a Wink to flash in and Q. Xiaohu is quite strong. Quite tame, but also you can tell there's a lot of love in the crowd. As always. Exciting game number 2 drafts. And again, as always, my attention is very often drawn to topside matchups just because I feel like we talk about bottom lane so often. But it's kind of hard to ignore the bottom lane matchup this time around, isn't it? Draven Pyke on one side, with Ziggs on the other. I'm very curious about how Light's going to be able to really navigate this one. I think as a couple of levels come in and he's, sort of hits that level 5, specifically level 7, I think is where the Qs start to like one-shot the back line. And he can have a much easier time wave clearing. I do imagine that Light is definitely going to, kind of take a bit of a back seat here, and hopefully Crisp as well, same kind of deal. Just trying to not get hooked and not look for heavy trades and just effectively wave clear out until Light can actually wave clear faster than Arn and Wink can as a duo.
I feel like we'll just be watching more action in the bot side. As you're already mentioning, bot in game 1 was pretty exciting, but it is always that race for level 2, especially with Pyke. That phantom dive is important as Chris just takes one piece, relegates to another. But does take a heavy trade, at least with Alistar here, Jamada. You do have a little bit more tools, and especially with the healing. It's not all doom and gloom if you take a bad trade early.
No, exactly. It will just slowly heal back up over time. So long as they don't get traded on too heavily, shouldn't be too big of an issue. And with double melee supports, I imagine that Crisp should be just fine. Just waiting for Light to clear those minions out as weiwei. I was wondering whether or not he's going to just kind of make a cheeky path all the way down to bottom side from this angle, but will relegate himself to a full clear. And Tianzhen doing the same thing, looking to just cover Arn and Wink. So let's see exactly how aggressive these early junglers get, because as we mentioned, Tianzhen was pivotal to the early game aggression in game number 1. And this time maybe weiwei looking for a level 3 dive on the top side. TheShy is full fury up there at the minute. Wink has roamed over towards the mid lane as well, so just trying to see if they can put pressure on Xiaohu. This wave, once it crashes, it could be a bit of an issue. They've used... Alright, so TheShy has used all of his passive. YSKM had bone playing, can trade back in the wave. Maybe once the cooldowns come back up, the dive is super doable, but Renekton cooldown's quite lengthy. 5
seconds for that stun. I mean, you're waiting for permafrost here. Still relying on that burst. weiwei takes it up. Beautiful dive. Has to burn the flash in the end, but first blood over to TheShy.
Yeah, I guess they're just so strong, and YSKM had traded so aggressively that they don't really need TheShy's cooldowns to make that dive a reality. YSKM fall prey to that, and again, this is a matchup where you can very quickly fall behind in the 1 versus 1, let alone without that jungle interaction where weiwei ends up in the top side. Ziggs has 100% win rate. I wonder if that is, I mean, 6 wins, so it has to just be a split, but insane to think.
Yeah, as Wink draws him in, but it backfires. Arn cleanses away, but no flash instead. Chris doesn't have any summoners, and no cash in. Oh, that's rough as Tianzhen takes the kill, but the Bone Skewer forces a flash. This 2v2 is nasty, and Weibo are on the back foot again.
Yeah, that's so unlucky, actually. The blast back on the explosive punch actually stole the kill from Tianzhen. Definitely not intended. Was just looking to dump damage into Light whilst they were trying to execute Crisp. So feels bad. I guess we're so early in the game that, hey, double-edged sword, right? Arn gets to stack up more damage for that level 6 mark on the ultimate, but you definitely would have preferred that it goes over. Great stand aside from Arn as well to stop the combo from coming in. Forces Crisp to flash forward, and that's what actually gets him killed here more than anything. Tianzhen, again, very unlucky to steal that kill. Would have definitely preferred it goes into Draven's back pocket, but that's just the way the cookie crumbles in this play. As Tianzhen, alongside Wink, they really want to give TheShy some breathing room. Remember, he didn't flash in that dive, so he's got flash.
Spotted though, as Ghost Water Dive is coming through. There's Hookshot, Walk Shot, Phantom Underdive is flashed away from with the Bone Skewer as well. Wink is making magic on the map. First in his own lane, now in topside. TheShy with that summoner down. YSCam still has his.
Yeah, exactly. YSCam can maybe find a window or two where an all-in is possible, but it just feels very, very hard in this matchup. Especially you're down a pickaxe, you're down a little bit of base stats, and just Renekton, strength of champion at this point in the game, very hard to contest. As IG are going to push Weibo off this dragon and actually steal away the leash. So this could just be a thank you for the leash moment. Weibo will certainly look to respond here. Xiaohu's level 6, so is Cryin.
We're going to start it off. There's the charm. Weiwei's just run into this Phantom Undertow. Gets the stun, and Cryin gets a free kill as Tianzhen now without smite to contest. They're still trying to fight him, though. They get the kill. Dragon sitting there, but Xiaohu's after the kills as Cryin now hits level 6. Starts blasting away. Charm onto Christmas. Wink is trying, but Xiaohu flushes away, but doesn't have enough damage. Crisp is left alone looking for the kill himself, but Cryin is getting everything. He survives to tell the tale, and IG's early game continues to reign supreme in this series.
Team fight could have been many tails. Fortunately, Cryin's got 9 of them. And no dragon actually goes down in the backside of that, surprisingly enough. Because they bursted out Tianzhen, he doesn't get the smite yet. So, really huge. They effectively one-shot weiwei in this play. Can't actually find anything. Tianzhen kind of flashed for nothing. Oh, did we just miss this?
We did.
Gets the kill.
Oh, did he get it? Oh, he got it. Oh, dear lord.
Yeah, whilst that was going on, finds that solo kill, so that's a cash in. Cryin does a really good job of making sure that he's able to space out everyone with those spirit rushes. I feel like Nymera would give this one the seal of approval.
Oh, I'm sure. Speaking of seal, 5 sacks, not bad at all.
No, that is the mega seal of approval.
Oh, it is indeed, isn't it? God, it's a big Ari. 500 gold lead mid, 700 bot because of that cash in. Top side, I didn't get to see, but is it relevant? Because TheShy is the only one in this game who now has a lead, or at least somewhat some power to talk about here. As IG only 1,000 gold ahead, but we know what Draven did in game 1. We know what any Draven does. People have played solo queue before. People have watched Tyler 1. You know, whether that's a great example or not. But this team, Jamada, this will snowball out of control.
It certainly will. And just because of the gold mechanics between Pyke and Draven as well, just those two alone can really start to take over games. Like, if Pyke starts to get, you know, a good couple of resets in a game, like, he gets very close to having the same amount of gold as solo laners, right? That's how much extra gold that passive can occasionally give if he's finding very consistent deaths from below. So, see how he gets on. And like you mentioned, I mean, even though he wasn't necessarily like the vocal part of that IG win in game number 1, he was still silently, I suppose, pulling out the damage in the team fights. It was a lot more about Tianzhen and his dive and Cryin with the Pop Blossoms. Those are the more explosive abilities in those games. Now, see again whether or not those wallets can come through and really put some hurt into Weibo.
Well, at least this wallet's going to be a little bit lighter than you'd expect at this point. But I have to pause because Xiaohu's just been charmed up, dived on, ulti burnt. Wave is cleared out as they're still trying to dive this. Late ult at that as Wink gets the last pull. Tianzhen out with the turret as well. And Xiaohu gets nothing. Good dive in the end.
What's he supposed to do against 3 underneath the tower there? Not much, realistically. As, speaking of being underneath the tower and outmanned, SKM could be looking to be dove yet again. Big wave. Tianzhen's on his way towards the top side. Pings are coming out. Wink is making his way up there. They might be late. Maybe they can answer out post-dive. YSCam, Ulma, and Flash available.
Once more, but they wait for that set ulti as he flashes over. TheShy's tanking up the turret. He ults late. He'll get the kill, but dead in the end. Teleport almost up off a cooldown, but as the wave is pushing in, I guess you take that as TheShy, who has gone Blade of the Ruined King, by the way, as his first item that we do not see anymore.
Yeah, TheShy wants to win the side lane. He doesn't care about team fighting, Jake. So I am kind of surprised that he's gone towards the Blade, right? I feel like so many Renektons this year, or at the very least this split specifically in the LPL, have really, really turned on big team fights with Gordon Cut. Let's see how this dive unfolds. So it's basically the ultimate to split the Shy apart, and then wow. Okay, so YSKM used the ultimate to push the Shy back, flashes away from the first dash, and then hook shots perfectly as soon as the Shy starts that auto attack, gets the stun off, and then the Shy's tanking aggro. Never able to really escape. Excellently played by YSKM. Even though he's down basically half CS, you know, he's still...
Oh, meanwhile, hang on. The Shy waiting for that enhanced W, finds it, cleanses there. Onto the Draven, he's got hardly any mana, but with a blue buff, flash for flash, doesn't work out. Arn without ears, you'd say is a bit more prevalent as Herald opens up the top side. So does the rotation from Light. Weibo do have a gold lead for the first time in what feels like ages. So this game is going well with plating available and no one to match in the bot side. The Shy's also going to get more.
Yeah, exactly. Demolish as well, so plate goes down instantly. Might just be able to squeeze this one out. Nah, not quite. And he will not be claimed by the Lost Plateaus curse either.
So, Jamada, let's be real. It's looking pretty good here for Weibo. Dragon stacking a little bit slower this game. And for the way the game started in that bottom side, the way the game has been through that skirmish, IG aren't as ahead as you'd expect from a team that really started the party early.
Yeah, I do definitely agree, but I feel like the individual members on the bottom side right now, kind of across the board in terms of like strength of champion in the game right now, I feel like they are still a little bit ahead of curve on Weibo. So despite the game state being a positive one, IG still have the opportunity to make plays. No doubt about that. So I'm still looking towards Tianzhen to really find a couple of strong cease and assists, have Cryin follow up on it, and then maybe Arn and Wink start to also then, you know, bankroll with those passives, right? And that's where you're really starting to look as IG. And that's when, if it starts to come to fruition as Weibo, you get quite scared, to be honest with you, right?
Sure.
If Draven cashes in, again, and it's been a little while, it's been, you know, 5 minutes, he's been stacking up. You're looking at an additional, what, 5-ish, 100 gold almost, if we're kind of just guesstimating, and that's not even factoring in if Wink is able to actually find some ultimates to share the gold out across the teammates. So, they are, you know, I made a joke the other day on cast about how the US government constantly prints money, you know, just to fix them sometimes. This is actually the IG bottom lane, this game. They do kind of effectively just print money. So we'll see whether or not that can happen and actually get
there's no
these guys
inflation in League of
Legends,
so it
inflation
doesn't matter
this time around, right? Which feels great. When the US government do it, then, you know, money's a little bit, it's worth a little bit less. But when IG do it, they just get richer. That's just how it works.
It's a smart idea instead. I like it. The analysis is there as onto Cryin. Can you do this? Trying to pop out his ulti. TheShy just wants to burn and turn as the wave will be shoving in. Cryin might get over as well. Meanwhile, Xiaohu is making a topside play onto YSKM. He does not have enough damage yet. YSKM with ulti maybe could have made that more dangerous than it was, but ulti's held on for both as Dragon is now up.
Yeah, exactly. And TheShy's in a bit of a position here. Weiwei's trying to keep him alive. They know he's dead.
Arn is isolated. Yeah, he is. Oh my god. Tianzhen smacks him down with the help of Wink. That skin vibrated the screen. Oh, bug up. Here comes hookshot, wallshot, ulti onto the jungler. Weiwei can't get out. And again, death from below. The spectator is in shambles. What is the Zaza we're experiencing right now every time Wink ultis?
Whoa, it's a good thing it's not a weekend. That's what I'm gonna say. Man, what is going on? Those particle effects, man. Jeez. I mean, look. At the end of the day, you know, jokes aside here, that's two. You know, it's Wink getting 2 kills, but then technically he's sharing an extra kill's worth of gold over the course of those ultimates. So, huge moment for IG because TheShy is just overreaching. Like, what's he doing here? Why is he looking for Cryin this aggressively?
Yeah.
Why does he want this ultimate to the point where he's willing to give his life over like this? And Wink. That's execution number 1. But like, okay, for real, why the particle effects like this, Jake? It's it's a cool skin, but like, I feel like my eyes get blown out every time.
Jesus. The distortion is unbeatable, unparamount levels. TheShy might be in a bit of trouble while we're laughing away, though. Ulti's almost up and available. Is the timing there? That Dominus It's close, but in the end, TheShy's dead before he can even press that R button. Tianzhen with the kill. Side lane TheShy now in jeopardy as he was the strongest member of Weibo only 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, he was. Now he no longer is, and he's going to be pushed down quite far. I have a very important question to ask you, Jake, perhaps after this play, if there is one.
Cryine's going to get this, isn't he? Everfrost. Charm just out of range. Bone Skewer there as well. Wink going to be channeled. There's the Whirling Death as weiwei drops the ulti after. Wink is nuked out of existence. Light with the CC chain. Really nicely done as TheShy teleports here all the way to mid to parry with the turret as well, leaving YSCam to find bot side and another push in. So props to Light. Just the ult in the perfect position to kill Wink.
Yeah, Wink just got a preview to Oppenheimer, I think. It's blown up highlight. I feel like maybe he wants to go watch Barbie afterwards instead. Funny discourse there. Hey, so I've got a very important question in regards to Wink and well, it's funny because he just died, but Wink and these ultimates. Do you have the mystical tree Zaza move in the LPL?
Of course I do.
Okay,
of course I do.
Brilliant. This is why I love you, boss. This is exactly why.
What I do.
Wink. Yeah, Wink just couldn't play the game. There's no analysis in him getting permafrosted into another ult on top of his head. He just dies. He can't get away in time. But anyway, zoom back out. IG actually sat in an okay position. YSKM's a champion now that he's got one item. He can still be locked down though, right? TheShy with Blade of the Ruin King. This build, a lot more geared towards 1v1. Very hard to deal with the Renekton. Pretty much always, if he's got a certain level of Fury, when you try and fight into him and then he pops Dominus, like he's going to get 2 empowered abilities, and that's just really, really hard to overcome as the Camille. Probably until maybe even 3 items, just given how strong Renekton can be with this item. So we'll see exactly how that side lane develops, but it will be one where eventually the Camille will or should overpower the Renekton, but there is always going to be room for skill expression down there.
I just love the gold lead we just saw. I mean, incredible stuff that we're seeing on our screens. The gold lead's been so back and forth, and we're now at a standstill yet again. But make no mistake, IG with the double dragon, we know who controls the pacing down towards the bottom side of the map. We know who this Infernal Soul would also benefit. Let's be real, probably both of them, as we see a lot of burst potential coming through, while Xiaohu forced the ult out of Cryin. Teleport going to be burned. He's not going to escape this one as YSCam just locks him in a chamber. And Cryin punishes 1 and 3. Xiaohu on this Tristana. Again, not having the greatest time.
Nope, not having the greatest time at all. Jake, are we going to see Weibo lose to IG-02? Is that what's going to happen today?
They beat JDG, and now they're going to beat Weibo. IG just like a little bit too late, but still scary.
You know what? Can we just... Do we just take the spot off of like NIP or RNG? Whoever finishes like 9th or 10th, make them battle it out, and whoever loses just give us the spot over to IG. Like,
yeah, we could.
Why not? What's happening, man? Like, look, IG. I feel like they've been the most like you guys, you older heads here in the LPL. When you were educating me to kind of get down of how things go on over here, you're like, look, top esports, they're the mojo team. I feel like IG have taken that crown. They were there in spring with all of that mojo in the first half, right? And now it feels like the mojo's returning in the back half of summer. And even if playoffs is out of their purview, looking to play spoiler for a couple of these higher end teams. They've effectively denied JDG from finishing first, right? I'm not sure if they've mathematically been locked out, but the likelihood is continuing to look like that will be the case. And now, maybe putting Weibo in a scary position to not make top 6.
Yep. Going to first round instead as Dragon starts up. I mean, IG, all it will take is a flank, but maybe for YSCam, the vision should be enough that Weibo can zone him out as weiwei ultis in onto Tianzhen. There's the nuke again. And Tianzhen get low as Xiaohu also jumping in. Finally, this Tristana doing something, but Tianzhen ulti for his last hurrah onto Light, who gets the shutdown. Weibo will find themselves the Dragon, but it's IG who should be pummeling. However, that ain't the case with Wink and Cryin running for the hills. TheShy played zone control, and weiwei played pain in the backside. As Chris now with an angle to ram against the wall, and Cryin just knows he's dead. As a nice cash in for Arn in the meanwhile. Means that this could turn around, but Wink's avoided. Xiaohu got out of that death from below. There's no reset to be had. but there are cash-ins for Arn,
Oh, no.
who's getting adoration from the crowd, who wants one more speed
up.
up.
The ward for the auto attacks, for the speed up.
Wink is gonna find him a bone skewer. He gets him another cash-in. Arn is rolling in the money.
Oh boy, that's 3 kills, a shutdown, I think, onto Xiaohu because he picked up a couple of kills in that team fight as well. Massive gold swing again. And now that the Baron's up, it's just spawned. They're going to take it immediately as it comes up. This teleport on the control ward should give Weibo an idea that it's happening, but I mean, I don't think they can do anything. Maybe some poke damage from Light, right, with the ultimate and some AoE, but I think this is gone. This should just be dead.
Doesn't mean TheShy won't go in, even without ulti. Try and find IG on the back end. As you said, the poke is there. Now we watch for Light to poke him down bit by bit as Cryin has to ulti out, but Chris now in danger zone as Wink doesn't have the ulti. TheShy back with dominance. This could be a fight for Weibo as TheShy and Xiaohu picking apart the pieces. Chris with the sacrificial lamb who gave ulti resets to Cryin, while weiwei now in threat as the charm connects, but in the choke, watch Light, watch TheShy, slice and dice, the Tianzhen re-engages, but Arn keeps getting the money. This guy richer than T-Pain right now. An adoration for Arn cannot be understated.
Cash rules everything around IG and everything around Arn and Wink. 6-0. He was 2 kills a second ago on like 1 kill. He was 102. He just picked up 5 kills. He's up, surprisingly, only 2k on Light, but it doesn't matter. He's got 4.4k sat in a wallet right now. He's 2 items. He's gonna buy like, I don't even know what a Lord Dom's was, a BF sword or something ridiculous, a Bloodthirster maybe? It could be anything. This guy is an absolute monster now because Weibo, I don't know, they've overreached so hard back to back, right? Once for Cryin underneath that tier 2, and then here in the Baron because they want to try and answer out. This time around, it makes a little more sense, right? IG are kind of, you know, trying to take a little bit of a bite of this team fight, but once the reset starts to come in for Cryin, and again, Weibo kind of look for this weird in the choke flank. Xiaohu's not in a position to follow up on weiwei. It's all falling apart so quickly, and almost come back up.
Again!
Oh no! Weiwei's dead.
Weiwei's dead. We're not sure how that happened, but with the Baron, we know what's going to happen next. Weibo going to have to fight for their life. TheShy! Your jungler just died here, but does he care? I mean, the whirling death flying through, that puts him in danger. TheShy decides to do a bit of running it down into IG's face, who now have 20 kills and the means to take a 2-0 in this series.
Get it ready. You know what I'm going to say? Get those emotes going.
Oh, no.
You know what's happening.
You know, I said it a bit more sus in the past. Tomato, I'll tell you how. TheShy to a T is how I phrase it. Yeah, I can't get done for that one. As Charm in again. Bone Skewer's been great. Xiaohu now looking for a re-engage, but Cryin taking none of it. Wink, death from below is on cooldown, but those Bone Skewers in range find their mark every time. He's been on point on the blitz, on the pike here in this series. As another turret goes down, both in bot, both in mid. Inners destroyed, 7,000 gold in their pocket.
I cannot believe what I'm watching in front of me right now unfold. IG back to back looking to cause upsets here into these top end teams. Weiwei, yeah, just fake check. Bye-bye. Doesn't matter how tanky you are. Too much CC. But then TheShy, you know, it's like he saw Weiwei do it and thought, hey, I could do it better. And just kind of kills himself. I'm not really sure what else to say. It's a bit of a weird rotation in. The only plus side here is that Wink didn't find the ultimate, so it's just less gold, right? But still a very curious rotation from TheShy. And now Weibo on the back foot, being choked out of vision. Dragon spawns in 15 seconds. At this big a gold deficit, if they fight, they will probably just lose the game.
Holy crap. That was a 6,500 gold Baron power play. If whatever that drink commercial that the English audience don't see, it said 6,595 positive play, which I'm assuming is the Baron power play.
Yep.
6,500k Baron power play is insane. And I mean, IG has shown up massive today. Again, out of playoffs, which is such a shame. But against Weibo, they've limited their options every piece of the way. As now trying to do the same to YSKM, it's hard. He's a Camille, hook shot, wall shot. He's out of there while you give up more pressure around the rest of the map.
Exactly. Very hard to lock down Camille. Even if she's not necessarily putting down pressure at your base, if you try and go to actually pick her up for a little bit of extra cash, then Wise Game's 1 and 4. Like, I don't think he's actually going to be worth that much gold. And number 2, you're killing by far and away the weakest guy on IG right now, and it's not really going to buy you too much depending on where he dies. And IG will certainly strike back far harder somewhere else on the map. So, yeah, Weibo, I'm not really sure what to say here. I guess Light's 3 items, so if they can get a very long, like prolonged team fight where they can poke out a range, then maybe things look alright, but I just can't see it coming to fruition. I feel like IG are just forcing the envelope so hard at every possible turn that there is no real prolonged team fight. It's, you know, Vi presses R on your face and then you just get dove on and die. So we'll see what they can actually try and find, but I feel like for now, IG, they just suffocate Weibo out. It's going to be a very clean and easy ending to this game.
Yep. And to the series, the way it's going, I want to point out Arn is 4 items, by the way. We never got to check in after the gold because it just kept happening piece by piece. That is a 4-item Draven with GA collector. We've also got a shield bow. Like, yeah, Arn is going to pummel and be very hard to kill for a Draven as Wink setting up for the Bone Spear again. He's found weiwei. Ghost Water Dive used to just threaten around the side as we never really did mention, but IG's pick tool's still so dangerous, as all it takes is Weibo to have less numbers than them. Hell, at this point, maybe even one greater number, and they can just take over as again. Threaten, okay, we push them away. Baron now spawns, Weibo have to walk in again.
Yeah, Weibo do have to walk in again. It's complete darkness here for Weibo. Look at that. I love the observers. It's perfect timing. It's like we just got telepathy between.
Yeah.
Of course, the observers can't hear us. That's why we make these jokes. But, oh yeah, Wink. Goes a little bit deep, spots out, drops the ward. Lane ward's going to be useful for information. Edge Knight was there, so I feel like Wink was almost always fine. Tianzhen needs to be careful, but yeah, I mean, for Weibo, all they can hope for is, at best, what they just did, right? Like, pop their head in, take a look around. No one's on Baron? Alright, great, let's turn around and not stay here any longer. Very rough situation to be in. And all they can really hope for, I think, is at this point a really botched Baron start from IG, but they're being real disciplined about how they're going about these fights.
Pops the ulti. Everfrost is there, but Chris' ulti, I mean, at this point in the game, when you're so far behind, the value is immeasurable. The fact that IG pulled it out, yeah. And now that that's down okay, we go back to Baron, we dance. Look at Draven. He does enough damage, doesn't take much himself, and they just look for Weibo to walk in. Oh dear. Oh, with the flash charm as well. Whirling Death. Xiaohu now the target. Wisecam jumps in with the angle before TheShy. His new target is onto Cryin, but that's an Ari. Making things hard as Crisp, without the ulti, is so squishy as Light has to bomb himself. Goodbye, cruel world. B-Ziggs is no longer as Weibo with 3 dead. This might just be it. No damage left in the chamber. And IG look to create the upset on one of their last series of the split.
2-0 into Weibo. Who would have thought, looking at this matchup today, that this would have come to fruition? Maybe 3 games, absolute worst case. They're on the Nexus Towers, it's just the support.
Wink is one taking up the damage, but yet another trade in as Arn fires away. This man must be adored. The crowd asks for nothing more than Weiwei's death. As the health bars are a little bit too low, it won't end here, but Arn has enough money to buy himself a Nexus at this point anyway.
He really does, doesn't he? 4 items. I will give credit actually to Light for being able to maintain, you know, gold relevance to this guy. Like,
true.
It's absurd, but even then, Arn might just base for like a huge... He might just have a full item again, just for funsies. You never know. Looks like it's just the last whisper, but jokes aside, IG, we're on the Nexus Towers there. Could have looked to close, but couldn't quite find the angle. Death time was just a touch too short. Weibo eyeing up around this Baron, but at the end of the day, I mean, look, Dragon's up in 20 seconds time. That's soul for IG. Pretty big thing that Weibo have to contest with. Oh, IG can just pull their leg here. Can literally just wait for them to have the Dragon spawn up, and if they don't start the Baron, just go towards the Dragon, send one member down there, execute it, and then come back. So again, Weibo, despite holding control right here, it's tense.
Forwards onto Tianzhen though. Do they have enough damage? I mean, he ulti's back on in. Xiaohu went melee for that one. As even in a choke, you think, wow, maybe Weibo have a chance, but as they find Wink in the end, that's great. But the problem is, Arn is still standing much like Elton John, baby. This man plays with his heart, plays the keys to no avail. 11-0 and 5. Baron an easy take. It might not be the end again, but it just keeps going their way.
And man, he's a rocket. On a rocket. On the way to the moon with the amount of gold that he's got. IG. Yeah, it looked alright. I'm not gonna lie. It looked like it could have been fine for Weibo for like a brief second. And then Arn started right-clicking people after you came out of GA. And it was immediately over. Good engage here onto Tianzhen. Tianzhen does what he can to stay alive on the way back out. But yeah, it's a pretty difficult situation to be amongst. Gets a triumph heal amongst it, but it's really about TheShy, who's putting in so much AoE here. Kills off Wink as well, and then thinking maybe he'll have the cooldowns come back up for Cryin, but then, yeah, Arn just starts right-clicking heads, and they all die. Triple kill goes over to him again. He'll no doubt have that Lord Doms finished up. There you go. And the Ninja Target, just to boot, just in case TheShy gets on top of him.
Okay, thank you for the Infernal Soul. We come back from the replay, 6k damage on the Draven. With Trinity, it's not even lethality, it's just Trinity Force now with a full build. 31 minutes into the game. Arn and Wink, like, they are continuing the legacy of Jackie Love. You know, we have Wink, who was an ex-RNG 80 carries. I need to pause it for the time being. Whirling Death flies through, and Tianzhen survives. So does Wink, actually, as Arn is booped out of there, unfortunately, by Xiaohu. And that means Light ulti doesn't get the kill. Weibo managed to defend at least for the time being. Jamada, the only thing I'm worried about here is that even I see Infernal Soul tear them apart. The longer this defense goes on, the longer this Ziggs damage hurts more. So, can IG end the game now is my next question.
I mean, there's a lot of wave clear on the Ziggs. This is the big thing about if they can get them off, great. Charm, gonna amount to anything, but Arn also, like, 2-taps these towers at 5 items and a Sheen. 1.3k crit on a minion, so I imagine it's not going to be too far behind on a champion if he does end up critting. This is the last chance to Luna, I think, for Weibo. These towers are getting lower and lower.
Still need to go down. I mean, they will rejuvenate. TheShy clears out that cannon. That does quite a lot. As poke here from Wink, the Bone Skewer. Weibo still trying to chase this up. Remember, they have Infernal Soul, and IG is still 13,000 gold ahead. So, Jamada, my question of, I guess, scaling at this point may be still irrelevant, as they have a lot of catching up to do. But the game is going on. That's the problem. The game feels like it should have been done 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, that's the scary bit about this game, right? Like, no matter how you look at it, with this big of a gold lead, you imagine IG should be pretty much like closing now, right? The opportunity they had before the Baron was kind of where you would have anticipated they'd end. And of course, the longer the game goes on, the more punishing mistakes become, right? Death timers are longer, objectives, you know, just tend to be up when picks are found a lot of the time at these stages of the game. So you need to really look out and be careful. Ooh.
Flashes away. I mean, weiwei just shouldn't have been there. Very far out. At least Xiaohu's able to clear the way, but IG still the threat of the poke, the pick, the CC, and the finisher in Arn is always there, as Light is clearing the way. As Light is the one you need to watch right now. Even though Xiaohu does a lot of damage himself, Light is firing from far away with almost 4 items.
It's so awkward because Light can clear these waves infinitely, and IG, like, even though they're so far ahead, diving is just risky, right? You're against Alistar, you're against the CC of Sejuani, and there's like double knockbacks from both of these carries here of Weibo, so you never really want to risk it. It just doesn't feel like it's worth it ever, especially when you've got, you know, 700 gold shutdown on Arn as well. If you hand that over to one of the carries, all of a sudden they finish up another big ticket item. I think we could end up in an Elder Baron flip situation at this rate, because mid lane inhibitor's up, bottom lane inhibitor is spawning, I think probably 2-3 minutes alongside, you know, when this Elder and this Baron spawn up as well. So I think we're in for the long haul, unless Weibo make a huge mistake in position and get picked off. We're here for another 5 minutes, I imagine, easily.
Was just looking at Light's gold, by the way. He might be 5,000 behind Arn, but remember that Arn's full build. His gold irrelevant at this point. And even though Light isn't full build himself yet, Rabadon should be coming shortly. That bouncing bomb, I guess the wrong direction.
No, we didn't see it.
No, we don't.
Good.
Okay, don't need to worry. As Wisecam might be in trouble. His TP committed as well, but it's from IG's side. Permafrost there to buy them time as Cryin chasing them down. Meanwhile, Xiaohu Might be caught out, but it's onto Wink, who can't pull the ulti off in time. IG are getting blasted away as TheShy almost finds Cryin, but as he goes golden, it's a bad spot. Arn cleaves him in one, but the re-engage is there. Look at the range. Arn can't deal with this carry in the mid lane. Xiaohu is doing so much work. Rocket jumps in, playing dangerous. Ulti from Tianzhen, maybe even more so. But they find the Sejuani. Weibo left in a 3v3 with a health bar advantage. Onto Cryin, he's up next, but they've gone too far. GA popped out, but YSKM will be known again.
They have no minions though, Jake. I can't quite see. We're in the picture-in-picture right now. Look at the elation on the face of the IG players there. YSKM stone-faced as they look to bear down on the base. The minions are quite far out, but these death timers, I think, maybe just about too long. Jake, I don't know. If they tank the towers, maybe.
Oh, it's okay. It is.
Yeah.
I feel like they're going to find... Oh, not the emote.
They've got it. They've got it.
Well, 5 seconds till TheShy. No, wait. 5 seconds to TheShy. Minions
No,
help it out, though. You're right, Jamada. You're spot on. At the end of the day, IG 2-0 Weibo in a beautiful sunset of an upset.
Before anything else, I've got to point someone their way. Someone go check on Cage man. If he's watching the LPL, watching TheShy get blasted 2-0 as